Welcome to Car and Bike, and today it's time for a very interesting battle, a battle that has seen multiple iterations over so many years, talking about the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna. These cars have been around for a very long time in the Indian market, the City for 2.5 decades, the Verna for more than 1.5 decades. So they've gone through multiple battles across various generations and facelifts, and now we have the latest versions of these two cars today here with us, the facelift of the City and the new generation of the Verna. So one more time they are pitting against each other, but this battle becomes a little more interesting with the arrival of a third car, a car that has become very popular in the market since it launched in India in 2022, talking about the Volkswagen Virtus. So now this battle from two-way becomes three-way with the arrival of the Virtus. So let's see who takes the top honors between these three cars, the Hyundai Verna, the Honda City और the Volkswagen Virtus. Hi Dhruv.
हाय शम्स एंड हाय दर्शकों, अगर आपको ये वीडियो हिंदी में देखना है तो मेरे साथ जुड़िए कार एंड बाइक हिंदी पर।
In a world full of SUVs of all shapes and sizes, these three new cars are making a lot of noise, and that is a welcome change. The Hyundai Verna, the Volkswagen Virtus and even the ever dependable Honda City have kept the buyer interest alive when it comes to sedans. But which one of these three should you depend on? Let's try and find out. All three cars, while being in the same segment, look quite different from each other. The Verna has changed significantly through multiple generations, and the cuts and creases on this new model are worth appreciating. Special mention of the connecting DRLs on front and similar lamps on the rear. The City, on the other hand, continues to feel like a quintessential sedan, which looks classy from whichever angle you look at it. Some new elements on this facelift have made it look a tad bit sportier than earlier. These include the carbon-wrapped diffuser and the lip spoiler. The Virtus, meanwhile, in this GT form really stands out with its dual-tone roof, blacked-out ORVMs and a 4 spoiler. Volkswagen has made some effort to make it look different from the 1-liter version of the sedan. While the City is the longest car here, Verna is the widest and Virtus the tallest. All the sedans run on 16-inch wheels, but the blacked-out ones on the Verna Turbo and Virtus GT just add to the sporty appeal. But probably more than the design, it is the cabin which appeals more to the buyer. So here's a look at all these three cars and the features. We begin with the newest of them all. The cabin of the Verna has gone in for a massive makeover in this new generation. You talk about the design, talk about the features, talk about the tech, the ergonomics, everything is really nice. They really have upped the game in this compact sedan segment. I like the fact that how this touchscreen system is tilted towards the driver, makes it more ergonomic. It's a part of this single unit which also has a digital cluster, something you won't really see in the other two cars that are there in this battle today. Feature wise, it's really good. A lot of features, wireless charger, ventilation works much better here when you compare it to the Virtus. A 2-spoke steering wheel for the first time in a Hyundai in India, and of course this really nice feature of switchable controls between infotainment and the climate controls. A unique feature makes the car sort of stand out when you compare it to the other two options. You also get a Bose surround sound system, ambient lighting in 64 colors, and the Verna is the only car in the segment with heated front seats as well as electric seat for the driver. The Virtus, on the other hand, feels equally premium if not more, and the layout of the cabin is quite ergonomic. Looking at the placement of the switches, it gets most of the features the Verna gets. The list of connectivity options though is not that long. Special mention of the red highlights on the dashboard, which are specific to this wild cherry red paint scheme. The City with its light interior feels quite roomy, and some of the dials have aged here well, but the buttons on the steering and even the quality of touchscreen can still get better. On the second row, both the Virtus and Verna impress, especially the latter, which has seen a massive improvement in this new generation when it comes to headroom and legroom. Virtus is the only car here that gives you adjustable headrests for all three passengers, while the middle passenger in the Verna misses out on that. Both the cars also give you plenty of charging ports, and overall, if you're buying either of these two to spend time in the second row, you won't feel disappointed. Talking about the Honda City, and this one has the least wheelbase amongst all the three cars we have with us here today. Surprisingly, the legroom is quite good. The front seat is adjusted to my driving position, so two 6-footers can comfortably sit one behind the other in the Honda City. Great knee room as well, really impressed. Headroom quite similar to the other two cars. I've tried all three cars now. I also like the under thigh support on this car, and the AC vents also function well. You also get a center armrest with two cup holders, much like the other two cars. What you don't get in the City on the second row are adjustable headrests, which is a bit of a disappointment, and you also do not get either A-type or C-type charging ports here on the second row of this car. When it comes to boot space, it is the Verna that races ahead while the City takes the last spot. But only on the Virtus can the second row fold down to make for an increased luggage space of 1050 liters. Now let's get to driving these cars, and all three here run on a 1.5 liter petrol engine. And we begin with the latest in the segment, the 6th generation of the Verna. The Hyundai Verna, just like all other cars from the brand, you get a decent number of options when it comes to engine and gearbox. You can choose from two petrol engines here, and we're driving this new 1.5 liter turbo that is a highlight on this new generation, wasn't seen on the car earlier, and we're talking about the most powerful and the most torquey engine in the segment. And you get a 7-speed DCT to go with that, so what you get is a drive that is really sporty and is equally responsive to your needs. Now what really can contribute to an even more engaging drive on the new Verna that's sort of missing even on this turbo version is the lack of steering feedback and also the way the suspension behaves. So despite having a turbo engine, the suspension on this car feels a bit on the softer side, and likewise for the steering wheel as well, you can definitely have a bit more sporty appeal coming out of it. The car also comes with 3 drive modes, Eco, Normal and Sport, and although the difference between these modes can be starker, they do help you decide if you want more fuel economy or a more spirited drive. Talking about the former, Hyundai is claiming at least 20 km per litre on both the manual or DCT options with this turbo engine. On the Virtus, the engine sound is a little bit sweeter and it is quite rev happy. The pickup is spirited and the car responds to your requests with aplomb. This one can be driven at triple digit speeds all day without losing too much steam. When you jump into the Virtus GT straight after driving the Verna, you do get a feeling that this car has a slight edge when it comes to the entire drive experience. Yes, you do get slightly less power when compared to the Verna Turbo, but there are things that more than make up for that. One of them is the stiffer ride quality on this car, just adds to the sporty appeal, and then the steering wheel that is really engaging, gives you great feedback. So overall, all these things come together to give you the best driver's car in the segment. It's also a car that handles brilliantly. You can throw it around corners at high speeds and just not get disappointed with its mannerisms. For a more engaging drive, there's always the sport mode, while you can also take greater control of the car using paddle shifters. The fuel efficiency on this 1.5 litre engine is around 18.5 km per litre. Volkswagen has also recently added a manual version to the GT lineup, enhancing the appeal of the car. The City, on the other hand, doesn't really give you an enthusiastic drive, but it is not exactly made to do that. The manual we drove provides linear acceleration and the gear shifts are quite smooth. Now there are some departments in which the Honda City continues to excel. If you're used to this car for a long time and are happy with the ride quality of the Sedan, the facelift will definitely not disappoint you. This is a car in which you can spend a long time driving or getting driven in, and you will not be complaining about the ride quality of the car. The Honda City knows India really well, it knows the Indian road conditions really well, it knows all the kind of situations you will face when you're driving out on the roads, and the suspension is tuned very nicely to take on all the different kind of challenges that will be thrown at this car. Yes, apart from the manual that I'm driving, you get the option of a CVT, and when compared to the other two cars that we're driving today, both of them come with a DCT gearbox, so these are sort of opposites, but you drive in the city and the CVT is all you need. So this is a car that really complements the city bumper to bumper traffic really well. On to safety, and all these cars score quite well. With the facelift, the City gets 6 ADAS features from its hybrid counterpart, while the new Verna scores even better on that front, as it gets as many as 17 level 2 ADAS functions. The Virtus meanwhile boasts of a 5-star Euro NCAP crash test rating and has more than 40 safety features. Finally, the prices, and here too there isn't much that separates these cars. While the City is priced between 11.55 and 15.97 lakh rupees ex-showroom, the Virtus starts at 11.48 lakh rupees for the base 1 litre and goes up to 18.57 lakh rupees for this top GT Plus TSG. The Turbo Verna is priced between 14.83 and 17.38 lakh rupees ex-showroom, while the base EX will cost you just under 11 lakh rupees. It was a really close battle today between all these three compact sedans, and I'm really glad it turned out that way. The choice must not be easy. The City continues to be a car that gives you great ride quality. You can spend hours in this car without getting tired. The engine is really refined, something you like as a driver or as a passenger. The Virtus, on the other hand, is a car that really engages you more so as a driver. The build quality is amazing. The way the drivetrain response is really nice, and of course, safety is 5-star. That is something that's paramount for a lot of people. But the Hyundai Verna, the latest entrant to the segment, keeping in tune with the changing times, for now it gets slightly difficult to beat the overall package this Korean car is offering. Technology is really high, the car is really advanced in terms of features. It really sets new benchmarks in this really competitive segment.